I'm Chris Forsberg, former drift champion, and this is Drift Car Dynamics. This is the day we've all been waiting for. Been putting in an incredible amount of hours into this car, but now we're at the track and we're getting ready to rip. We've gone through the car to make sure everything is tight and right, and we're ready for our first shakedown, and then we'll start making our adjustments. Now that we got through our first set of tires, we're seeing a little too much wear on the inside. So what I want to do is loosen up this strut, which is connected to the spindle, and I can actually add more positive camber to get this tire to sit flatter on the ground, and this will give you more grip and better even tread wear. And now in this car, it's very easy to adjust because we're actually doing it from the strut to the spindle. Some cars have camber plates up top, some you have to do from the bottom, but it's always best to adjust your camber from as high as possible so that you do not adjust your track width at the same time. Now, of course, you can get on a fancy alignment machine and dial in your camber down to the 10th, but when you get out to the track, if you have uneven tire wear, it's best to just adjust it on the fly to get that tire to wear nice and even. After a couple corners, the back end's feeling pretty loose. What that means is that it rotates easily and it doesn't have as much grip as I would like. So I'm actually going to move this sway bar pickup point further down the arm to have more leverage on the sway bar, which actually gives less overall control between the left and right wheel to let the back end sway, dig into the corner, and get more grip. The other thing I noticed about this chassis is that it has a very heavy steering feel. So what I'm gonna do is lengthen my tension rod, which will move this wheel forward, adding negative caster, which will give more steering feedback through the steering wheel. And that's gonna help with the transitions through the corners while in drift. Caster might be one of the most difficult alignment settings to explain, and it is very much like a shopping cart caster, in which it has self-truing properties to keep the wheels pointed straight under load. And so when you adjust your caster, you're actually changing this pivot point forward and back. The more vertical it is, the more that car wants to wander and track around. And the more negative it is, it actually wants to pull the wheel straight as you're coming out of a corner. So that's very beneficial in drifting because as you come around a corner to the right and you want to crank it back to the left, you actually let go of the wheel and let it counter steer itself and get back set into place. And lastly, you always want to end with setting your toe because after you adjust your camber and your caster, you're going to have your wheels pointed a little bit differently than before, so you want to put those plates on and get those things trued up straight. While the car is in the air, you want to bust these jam nuts loose on your toe rods because you want to do all of your toe settings on the ground, and these might be a little bit hard to reach. A set of toe plates is one of the most important tools for any driver's toolbox because it is the most important alignment on your car. Whenever you go off track or bump into another car or even want to make driving adjustments, you break out your toe plates, make sure your wheels are pointed nice and straight, and you can always adjust from there. Front toe is actually one of the adjustments that is very driver dependent. Some drivers like it to be nice and neutral and have a little easier steering. Other drivers like a little bit of toe out, which helps with quicker turn in when you're going around a corner. As for the rear, it's a little bit more defined, especially in drifting, because toe in will actually give you more drive and more control on the throttle through a corner, whereas toe out will actually help with the car's rotation and hold the back end out on throttle, making it easier to drift. For my cars, I do a little bit of toe out in the front for a quicker steering into the corners and a little bit more control. And for the rear, a little bit of toe in so that I have control on the throttle to keep the car going nice and fast. Oh man, this thing feels great. If you have any questions on your setup, leave them in the comments below.